We're going to spend some time talking with another man who has so much passion and enthusiasm for his work. You can see it in each and every photo behind me. Now, he is Key West's premier photographer. He also has over 30 years experience in event and wedding planning. This guy has created himself to be one name, and that name is Vidal. Just like his name and his photography, he is full of style and flair. Vidal, thank you so much for being on the show with me today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure and honor to be here.
Well, I know you are a very busy man, so again, I thank you for being on the show. And tell our viewers, Vidal, I understand that you have lived here your whole life. You were raised here.
I was born and raised here in Key West, 4 generations. And my ancestors actually came right before the Revolution to hand-roll cigars from both sides of the family. So we migrated and just stayed here. Now, my family has 150 years firefighting on the island.
Wow.
But I chose to do something different with my life.
Opposite, right?
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, the Key West Citizen influenced me a lot, and black and white photographs influenced me a lot. And I think the photograph that created a lot of passion for me was when JFK died. He was shot, and he was in the morgue, and he had a toe tag. And there was a picture of Jackie kissing his foot. And there was something about the power of a photograph that influenced me to want to do that for the rest of my life.
Wow, so it was that photo.
I was thinking about it this morning when I was meditating about my life and how blessed I am and what brought me to this point. And I have to say that that was one of the first photographs that truly influenced me.
Wow, so your career just took off from there then, Vidal.
Well, you know, it's funny because I just had dinner with a cousin of mine in South Beach, Adonis. He's a firefighter and he also models. And we were talking about when he was like 5 or 6 years old, I go to Miami now. No, I'll handle the communion. No, I'll do this. And I was always with the camera as a child myself. It's just a passion that I had. I realized at a very young age how powerful it is to capture a certain moment in time that frees it forever.
And your motto, I love your motto, Vidal, it's, if you don't look good, I don't look good.
I have to tell you, I stole that from Vidal Sassoon. Rest his soul, he has passed away now. And I've been in business 32 years, and I was hoping that he'd sue me because it would be like national attention. I'm going to take away from my camera.
That's good.
And I kind of took that from him because I also figured that in the market, if I don't look presentable, and if I'm not carrying the message, how is my client going to have confidence in me? So I figured that if I could live a healthy lifestyle and try to look as good as possible, that when somebody appears in front of my camera, I can make adjustments or arrangements in a nice way and say, can we try this? You know, like I come from an era where women used to love blue eyeshadow. And blue eyeshadow just doesn't photograph good, so I would say, can we put a little gray over it, or can we touch it up with something else? And in a kind way. And this way, I think I've been very blessed where I've gained confidence in my clients because they'll know that I won't photograph them if they don't look just right.
That's wonderful. I think that's very important in a photographer to have that passion that you have. Now, let's talk about wedding and event planning for a minute. You also have a lot of experience in that.
Yes. Well, again, growing up in Key West, we never had wedding planners. This is something that's really hit the market in the last maybe 5 to 6 years in Key West. But before then, the biggest resort we'd had here was the Henry Flagler's Casa Marina. And that opened up in the 80s, and I became the house photographer there for 15 years. And with their staff and myself, we were the ones that would coordinate these big conventions like Discovery Channel, Calvin Klein, Sprint. They've all come here, Cadillac. And my job back then, before computer and digital, was to follow them around like for the whole week and prepare a slideshow for the final dinner. Or if we had a high-end wedding, to know, according to the etiquette books, as we were talking about earlier, when it's time to do what. Without disrupting the wedding, without trying for me to be the star, but rather than blending in with the guests, but choreographing it in a way where everyone is comfortable. And this way, the bride and the groom remain the stars, and you know, they're spending a lot of money. They want to enjoy their guests and their night. They don't want someone telling them what to do like a corporate world. But yet someone has to choreograph it, and someone has to make sure that the knife's in place, the goblets are here, that the license was at the church before the wedding. There's all kinds of great things that people just don't think about.
Someone has to be in charge.
Absolutely.
Okay, but which one do you prefer more, Vidal? Do you have a preference?
I love the fact, I just finished a wedding in Plantation. The church was in Plantation, and the reception was in Coral Gables Country Club. And I planned it from the beginning to the end, and I photographed it.
Wow.
And
so you did it all.
I was at the hair salon in the morning with the mothers and the bride getting their hair and makeup done. I was like, no, that's not the right color. Please, can we change this? And it's all because I'm trying to prepare them so that when they're done, the attention is not on them. What do I look right? Is my dress right? Is it too low cut? Is it going to open? All these things have been taken care of with fittings. You know, with showing up to the bridal salon and making sure that the final fitting is just right, that the bride has the proper garment underneath. There's a big science to it. When they're done, I just want them to know that that last glance in the mirror is that they look their best. It's a magical day.
It is. It's the most important day.
And it should be enjoyed, you know? But it's also the groom's day.
That's right, and in the man's life. Right.
And I always make sure that the groom has makeup on so that he doesn't have a skid mark on his forehead from shine. The eyebrows are in place or they've been waxed. That his boutonniere's not too big that he's uncomfortable. I mean, there's so many things that lead into doing a high-end event, but yet you want people to feel comfortable. You want them to enjoy their event even though they're dressed up or they have makeup on. You want them to forget about all of that and just make their dreams come true, that they look their best for their day.
You're giving me goosebumps.
Oh, thank you.
Now, if people are interested in you, are you always taking new clients?
Always, always. I'm never, you know, no job is ever too big or too small. I recently also did a small wedding on the beach, just 10 people, and again, I planned every aspect of it, and I love it because it's easy for me. It's easy for me to be able to sit with someone like you're doing with me. You're evoking all these emotions out of me because you're a good interviewer. And I feel that I have to be a good interviewer when I sit down with my client and go, what do you envision? What do you see? And then with my expertise, because it's not my first wedding, I can kind of guide them and give them options.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing all of this with our viewers, and hopefully they can check out your website and also your blog, which is on the screen right now.
Thank you.
Thank you again. We're going to take a quick break, everyone, but we will be right back after these messages. I'll be back with singer-songwriter Rock Solomon. Stay with me.